سمپوزیوم در واشنگتن، مسئوليت آمریکا در حفاظت اشرف، لغو ضرب الاجل مالکی. ارتشبدجان کین، معاون ستاد نیروی زمینی آمریکا 1999 2003، فرمانده سپاه 18 هوابرد، فرمانده لشکر 101 هوابرد.
So I'm suggesting that we get comprehensive and holistic about what we're doing. I'm not suggesting for a minute that we start with some small things and then lead up to larger things. I'm saying we put our hand around their throat right now in every interest that they have. Why are we permitting the Quds Force leaders who have been organizing this killing of us for 30 years to go around still walking around? Why don't we kill them? We kill other people who are running terrorist organizations against the United States. These guys have killed almost 1,000 of us. Why don't we kill them?
سفیررابرت جوزف، دستیار ویژه رئیس جمهور آمریکا 2001 2004، معاون وزیر خارجه 2005 2007.
I am convinced that until the current repressive regime in Tehran is replaced through the resistance of the Iranian people, we will not permanently succeed in ending the nuclear program. And I can now say unequivocally that I am not only a supporter of delisting, but also of the other steps that Governor Ridge and others on the panel have put forth. Thank you very much.
پروفسورآلن درشویتز، معروفترین وکیل جهان در پرونده های جنایی، از برجسته ترین وکلای مدافع آمریکا، صاحب کرسی فلیکس فرانکفورتر در دانشکده حقوق دانشگاه هاروارد، برنده جایزه ویلیام داگلاس به خاطر رهبری مبارزه برای حقوق مدنی و انسانی.
I intend to communicate directly to the Chief Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court and urge him to grant witness-protected status to the potential witnesses who today are in that camp. It is an international crime to tamper with witnesses or to murder witnesses. The actions of the Iranian government and those in Iraq who are toadying up to the mullahs make it clear that these dissidents are potential targets of Iranian mischief. The United States government, which was responsible for disarming them, has the concomitant responsibility to protect them. We should call publicly on the Iraqi government to remove the December 31st deadline, and we should do that before Maalki comes to the United States. We should take the matter to the UN Security Council for a binding decision to prevent the human catastrophe, and we should do it immediately. The State Department should act immediately to eliminate this horrible excuse that's being used by the Iraqi regime by removing MEK from its list of foreign terrorist organizations.
کريستين وایتن، مشاور وزیر خارجه 2003 2009، مشاور ارشد در زمینه حقوق بین الملل.
Last week, the IAEA reported that Tehran has continued to work on a nuclear weapons program. The Tehran regime continues to use terrorists as instruments of national policy. It's been tireless in seeking to expand its influence around the world, and it continues to be the primary adversary of freedom in the Middle East. So now, I'd say, is the time for us to do the right thing on Iran policy and on Camp Ashraf.
دکترريچاردبن، دادستان و رئیس نیروی ویژه پرونده واترگیت، عضو کمیسیون تحقیق 11 سپتامبر، عضو گروه کار وزارتی در مورد جنایات جنگی نازیها. هوارد دین، تام ریچ و پاتریک کندی.
Explain to me, Martin Kobler, what rationale you give for what you have done, which is essentially to sign the execution okay for 3,500 unarmed civilians. That is not what the United Nations is supposed to be doing. How is it that the President of the United States is now inviting a person who is being investigated for war crimes to come and sit in the Oval Office? That Oval Office does not belong to the President of the United States. It belongs to every one of us Americans. And we get reassured that they are paying attention. It is not enough to say you are paying attention. We have 41 days left.
So I've got an idea. Mالكي is coming to this country on December 12th. And I really hope this tape gets to the White House. The State Department issues visas, and the Department of Homeland Security, although the visa has been issued, has the right to deny you access into this country. Let's set a couple conditions before we open the door. How about delisting the MEK? Oh, I appreciate that, but there's a lot more. We're going to delist. We're going to insist that they cooperate with UN High Commissioner on Refugees. We're going to insist that the initial interviews take place in Camp Ashraf. We're going to insist that the United Nations provide security for both the UN High Commissioner and his team, as well as the residents of Camp Ashraf.
This morning, we heard disturbing news from the UN Assistant Mission for Iraq, Martin Kobler. Martin Kobler made a pronouncement today. He told the residents of Camp Ashraf that they must accept Iraq's rule, that all of them need to be relocated to unknown locations without letting the UN High Commissioner on Refugees continue with his mission to interview and identify them as refugees. This is not only is that before Nouri al-Maliki can step foot in the United States of America, not only must he disavow his license to kill, but he must say that he will give international monitors at the United Nations enough time to do their job. If he wants to be considered a member of the international community in good standing, then he had better follow international law and allow the UN High Commission on Refugees to complete their work.